Hello, my name is Tom.
And I'm Heather.
And you're sitting at the Couples Table.
The Couples Table is a live stream podcast weekly here on YouTube, Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where us, newlyweds, talk about... join us for better or worse.
For richer or poorer.
In sickness and health.
As long as we both shall live.
Okay.
I don't have my
we need to work on that.
It
doesn't flow. It does not.
It doesn't
flow.
But we did literally practice. Anyway, hello. It's so nice to see you guys again today.
Hi, everybody.
Thursday Couples Table. Today we're we're both wearing plaid that matches our microphone cable. So if you're watching this and not listening, that is absolutely.
I had to iron this shirt. Okay, guys. Let me tell you. This girl has not picked up an iron since March.
Because we're fancy.
I feel very done up today.
Well, that's good because we're going to dive into a fancy world.
Well, first of all, we have to tell everybody because we were going to do like it was our 10th podcast and we were supposed to do like a whole like.
You want to acknowledge the elephant in the room?
Is it the elephant in the room?
I don't know.
I'm just, okay. So this is our 10th episode, which yay.
Oh yeah, congrats. Wait.
We did 10 episodes. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. Did you know the average podcast stops at 7 episodes?
No way. Okay, so that's great.
So if you can do a podcast beyond 7, you're above average.
Awesome. So we were above average. Yay. So we were going to do a celebratory episode for our 10th episode. We're actually going to be doing it next week because this week was just crazy and we didn't have time to prepare. And we're going to have a special host helping us with that who's in the comments
and wasn't
James.
Available today,
yeah. So we're gonna be doing that next week instead. So for this week, what are we talking about?
We're kind of like merging worlds here a little bit because one of the things about the Couples Table is we started it as let's talk about stuff that just affects us as a couple and that's relatable, and it was fun to sort of branch outside of like our YouTube worlds, which takes up, a huge chunk of both of our time, and kind of explore other things. But that YouTube world does take up a huge chunk of our time, and it does dominate a lot of our conversations off pod, so to speak. And we've been having discussions where literally last night Heather was like, "Stop.
This is what we're talking about."
Yeah, save it for tomorrow.
Yes.
So we're sort of merging worlds. We're kind of bringing in like a YouTube-y topic, but it is something that it's not only something we talk about, but it does literally affect how you perceive your hobbies, your home life, your own happiness, how you might compare it to other people and that sort of thing. I think it's something that a lot of people deal with, struggle with, and maybe don't always handle in a healthy way.
Yes. And the thing that we're going to be talking about today is specifically making money creating content.
Yes, and
on YouTube.
The positives and negatives of that.
Yes.
Because it's not an inherently evil thing, but it's also not an inherently good thing either. It's just a thing, and it's kind of how you approach it that affects a lot.
We both have very strong opinions on this. And I think what's interesting, why I thought it would be a good topic to bring to the Couples Table, is because not only, does it affect our lives as content creators and as business partners, because that's what we do, we create content, but also our perspectives come from very different places. Like, I'm an entrepreneur. This is my
we don't necessarily see eye to eye on every part of this.
Yeah.
And we have, we know people who like, it's something that I'm a little almost scared to talk about because I think that my point of view specifically is atypical of what you would see in the YouTube world.
Well, see, now I'm curious because I don't know if you think you know what I think.
I think I will find out.
But okay, so let's just dive into it.
Let's just jump into it.
Money and YouTube. Let's start there.
Okay.
Okay, let me start with what I was saying in that I obviously make money on YouTube. Ironically, when I set up this stream, I debated whether to monetize the video.
We need to have 28 mid-roll ads.
I monetize the video, whatever. But so I've been doing this for 4 years, and I have had turns and ups and downs throughout my journey of whether, like, how to make money as an entrepreneur. When I first started, I didn't think that I didn't see YouTube as a avenue to do that. I was strictly doing social media marketing, actually. And it turned into more of like a teaching, coaching, training on digital media and all of that. But then my YouTube channel was picking up. Like, I was seeing and feeling momentum where when I would talk to people about it, of course, it's like the first question that you get: how many subscribers do you have and how much money are you making or whatever? And I just went there also naturally, I didn't know anybody. Like, back then, we know so many content creators now. I didn't know anybody back then. So I was like, okay, that's the thing that you're supposed to do. So then I remember like re-strategizing my channel to, and my business, I guess, to focus on crunching out the content so that I can monetize the content and have that be a major revenue stream. And I feel like that was, I don't have any regrets, but I don't do that anymore. I have since turned away from that. So yes, this vlog channel is monetized, as in it, there's YouTube ads running and stuff. I don't actively seek out sponsorships. I don't care to monetize beyond, like, yes, there's YouTube ads, but I'm not like on a strict schedule because of the ads. I'm on a strict schedule to keep myself accountable with my like own personal thing that I'm documenting. So long story short, I wouldn't consider myself really monetizing here. YouTube is still huge. It is the foundation for my business, but it has nothing to do with how much content I create. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
So I just want to preface that because I think that it's important to understand where my perspective is coming from. So as in my opinion, I think it's a goddamn shame that people so quickly start out on YouTube and just go for the money.
Yes.
Honestly, I think it sucks. And I'm glad that we're having this conversation because I think it needs to be talked about, because it's just not talked about enough. Like, not every hobby has to turn into a paid thing. Not every creative endeavor has to be like a way to make money in order for it to be fulfilling. And like the reason why this even came up in conversation between us last night was because I was scrolling through Twitter and someone posted like, oh, I'm going to teach you how to be a full-time content creator and a full-time YouTuber, or full-time. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not
there
at
are
all.
Definitely people who want to be that. And I feel like that is, that's great that like someone is willing to be the trainer of that. But also I feel like that's so much more dominated in the conversation where it's almost like the default, like me, where when I first jumped on the platform, it was like, well, of course you're doing this to make money. Why else would you be doing it?
It reminds me of 2 years ago when YouTube changed their monetization requirements to 4,000 hours of watch time in a 12-month period, and 1,000, and people lost their minds. And I was like, if you don't meet those requirements, you have no business monetizing your YouTube channel. You're gonna make $12, like, well, 10 cents per video, $12 a month. If you have like a ton of videos, like, let it go. It's so like not the thing you should be focusing on at that point in the journey. And it really does suck that becomes the thing that people want to go for. We're in a room right now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to count because I don't know. 6 guitars, a bass, a drum set, multiple synthesizers. You know how much money I've ever made off those instruments? Absolutely $0. I have spent so much money.
Do you regret it?
It's no.
And that's the thing.
And half the times that I like, I go in here alone and play them. Or like, it's a thing that's for me. It's not even for anybody else. And it's one of the most fulfilling things in my life and it has nothing to do with being monetized. It has nothing to do with like I need a return on the investment or whatever. It's like, no, dude, that guitar is green because I really wanted a surf green guitar for a long time, and I finally like got one. And it doesn't even matter. Most people will never even see it. Other than
I
me.
want to acknowledge the comments this time since we
I
were able to do it
around.
last time. Yeah. Really quick, Aunt Diana's here.
Hi.
Yay. Let's see. Aaron was like, wait, there's money?
Not in podcasting.
To see if starting YouTube for money is like taking exams for fun. It does work that way. James, money is like icing on top of the icing on the cake, but definitely not the cake.
Right.
Yeah.
When I started my channel, I was very adamant. It was even like on my website and all this stuff about like, this is not a source of income. I'll never even enable ads or anything. And then slowly like the channel just started generating revenue like organically. And I learned, oh, I literally wasn't even trying to do it. So I can embrace that without it being a dominating thing.
See, but it's so weird. So, okay. This really brings me back to the beginnings of me trying to start a business, because I remember when I had no idea what I was doing, and the people that happened to find themselves, in my journey, like mentors that I had at the time, people I had met and they had found out what I was doing. They saw my struggle in trying to make money. And so many of them were very impressed with my YouTube channel and said, don't worry about it. The money will come. Like that was the overall advice I was getting. Just keep doing what you're doing and the money will come. And I doubled down on that. I was like, okay, these are people I trust. They have experience. They care about me, and I'm going to believe that. And then I don't know what happened, but my circle of people I was surrounding myself with changed, where it was like, no, you need a business plan. You need to you can't just, the money will come. What the hell does that mean? Like you need to have a structure and a plan and a strategy and all those things. And so, I feel like I lost the naive sense of, I don't know.
Which in a way is the superpower.
Yes, because I feel like as soon as I tried to strategize, I lost it. It wasn't fun anymore because all of a sudden I wasn't doing it for fun. I was doing it for the money.
So here's the thought I was having last night when you told me to stop and save it was I've been really getting back into cycling over the past few months. And sometimes when I go on bike rides, I if I have a problem or something trying to work out, I just sort of think about it. Sometimes I think about nothing. For some reason, the other day, I was just thinking about this YouTube culture situation. And the thought that I had was, at least in my little world, like the creators that I watch and the niche that I'm in, there's trends that pop up. And it's funny because sometimes I'll talk to you about them and
he'll just show me his subscription feed, and it's like there's clearly a trend because every video is talking about the same thing.
Yeah. And okay, to give you sort of a brief example, I watch a lot of photo, tech, those kinds of channels.
Yes, you do.
And you can put all your different spins on it. But 3 to 5 years ago, a lot of those channels, it was people doing it, out of a room in their house in their spare time because they're just sort of excited about talking about cameras and gear and tips and tricks and techniques and stuff. About 1 to 2 years ago, there was a trend where suddenly like a lot of those channels had gotten bigger, and the big trend was get an office space. We need to get our office. We got our office. Every channel I was watching was like boop, 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 boop. All got their office. And then it was, we need to hire someone, hire 2 people, hire a team of people.
Why do they all do it at the same time? It's so weird.
I don't know. I don't know if there's connections or things behind the scenes, or I think it's monkey see, monkey do. Like, I can't be in my bedroom like a nerd and they have like an office like a cool person. Are you kidding me? And I think part of it was like channels are growing and like, okay, my business.
We're taking this seriously.
Yeah,
now.
I need to have my business plan. I can only grow so far in my like room in my apartment or something. I think there's legitimate, everybody's things are different, obviously. But then there was a trend of growing it. And now there's been a huge trend of second channels. And I think that there's a lot of reasons for second, and you can just track what happened. You started a channel, you turned it into a business. Now you're starting a second channel. I can see exactly why. Now, there are many reasons why you would want to start a second channel.
You started a second channel.
Yeah, I did, because what I wanted to do which I ended up just not being
You
interested
never
in
uploaded,
pursuing.
yeah.
But I was like, oh, you know what? It would be interesting to just sort of share perspectives and things I'm doing that aren't what my audience came for on the main channel. I think that's a good reason to start a second channel. If you do a camera channel, but you also want to do cooking tutorials,
Yeah, you should definitely.
second channel. You have 2 channels.
I do.
Yeah, and why isn't it just one channel?
Because it is different audiences. Yeah.
And I think that that's important. And in the podcast that I have with Peter Lindgren, who just started a second channel, one of the things that we talk about repeatedly is respecting your audience, because it's your channel and you want to create the thing you want. But at the same time, the people that are helping you grow did come there and did decide to support you because you made there was some kind of like unsaid agreement that you were going to give them something that they came for.
Signed up for something.
Yeah, and they want to get what they signed up for. And his second channel was just to be more personal, like he had done personal type videos on his main channel and people wanted the tutorials and the reviews. So he's like, I'll do a second channel where I can just focus it more on me. I'm the character, my family, that kind of thing. And that totally makes sense. I don't have any problem with that. The problem that I have is so many other people have started second channels, and the way that they describe their second channel is, that's the channel where I just upload whatever I want. That's the channel where I just do stuff for fun. That's the channel where it's just for fun. And it's like, what you're telling me is that the main channel that I'm watching right now is not for fun. This is the job. And I get that. You're kind of, you need to make a living, you need to pay a team, you need to pay rent on that office space. There's different stakes when you upload a video versus like, I uploaded a video today that didn't do well, and it's like, meh, I don't care. I like the video. It's still good. It'll still be good. But it doesn't really matter. Whereas if this is a full-time thing, then you're like, crap.
It matters.
I'm in a position where now I need, like, this needs to do well. But the flip side to that is, like, right now my YouTube channel is the thing I do on the side of my full-time job, which is teaching. My teaching job is absolutely exhausting, but also rewarding. I feel that the pay is fair, and there's great, health insurance. It's a very good job. Like I am
now benefiting from.
Right. Yeah. No, you get health insurance too. It's a great job. There's time off. There's not as much time off as people think, but there's time off. And then you can pursue other things. And what I have seen is people turned their channel that they started for fun into this full-time job, where now they need to start a second channel for fun to be the break from their full-time job. But the problem is, like, the full-time job of their main channel is so much worse than any like actual full-time job they would have. If you look at it in terms of the hours they're working, they're probably the worst boss they've ever had, because you're always going to be harshest on yourself. Yeah. And there's no separation of it. Whereas they could literally just get a full-time job that's going to make as much or more money, put in fewer hours,
and then have a channel that they're purely having fun with,
and then turn it off when they leave. But they have now created this weird prison of, like, this thing that was for freedom now is not, and now I need an escape from the thing I created, and it makes me sad.
Well, so you're coming at it from the end of these creators who even have these studios to begin with.
Right.
I think the reason why I've been thinking about it a lot is because, I'm in this new accelerator program. I'm really trying to focus in on my online course. We have our YouTube mastermind, and I'm really trying to do my best to help as many people as I can start and grow YouTube channels. And as of me joining this group coaching program, it was a whole journey to get to this point, but I made the switch from doing B2B to B2C.
What?
So before, I was heavily emphasized on YouTube marketing.
Okay.
Like, use YouTube to build your brand and business. You're an entrepreneur. You're trying to build a personal brand. You're trying to build an audience because you're trying to sell a product, a service, or offer something, get people to subscribe to something, have some kind of transaction with you.
Okay.
That has been my focus up until a few months ago, when I think even last month, when I was like, it just all hit me where I was like, you know what? I don't want to help people make money. I want to help people make a creative outlet. If it turns into a monetary thing, then great. Mm-hmm. But, like, you are one of my case studies. You are one of my people that I'm, feel like I are like one of my clients or whatever. And you are not doing this full time.
Mm-mm.
Yes, you're making money, but you're still having a lot of fun with it. I know that for sure. And that's how it always has been. And I want to help more of you become a thing, right? And in order to do that, I had to shift from like, okay, because if I go to networking events, obviously, they're all small business owners. And if they see me, they just see cash cow. Like, oh, I haven't done YouTube. That's a great way to market my business. And that all they want is the views, and they don't care about building a community. They don't care about, the things that we care about of sharing your passion, sharing your story, and documenting the journey, and showing the, the side where you're less than perfect looking and all of that. They don't, no. It's like, we got to show everything perfect and great and all of that. And that's why I've been thinking about this, because I want to make sure that I'm targeting the person who isn't trying to do this full time, because there's plenty of other coaches that are out there that will help you try to do YouTube full time. I just think that if you're going into a creative endeavor from the beginning, thinking that it's going to be the way that you're going to make money, you're going to approach it totally differently than like, I'm doing this purely out of excitement, joy, fulfillment, you know what I mean? Like those other things that we are
I'm
trying to get out of.
I've been a part of and
things.
Seen so many conversations of people talking about like the struggle of creating their sponsored content or their sponsored segment. They'll be like, I have my video done, but like the sponsored segment is really holding it up, which means they're going back and forth with whoever the sponsor is, and need to make revisions and do all this stuff, or they're trying to shoehorn this thing in that doesn't necessarily fit on their channel, but they need to, and it's like, good for you for reaching a point where someone wants to reach out and sponsor you, but at the same time, wouldn't it be great if you could just say bye and make the video you want to make without having to like
so here's where we
anybody?
Disagree. This is where I think we disagree, because I think that creatives and artists should get paid eventually.
I love getting money,
and sponsorships are great. Like I think that I believe in sponsorships. I think it's a fantastic way for everyone to win, the creator, the viewer, and the company. I feel like it's a great mix. But I do think that the approach, like, okay, I discovered a new channel today, and I'm not 100% like, I don't know if this is true for sure, but I saw in his description, he basically went from like less than 5,000 subscribers to over 1 million in 6 months. He does commentary. His name is D'Angelo Wallace. Absolutely amazing channel. Go check it out. But the last video that I watched he had a sponsored segment in it. But when I scrolled to the description, he was like, please click this because I'm trying to get them to sponsor me. And I was like, did you just do it because you genuinely like this company and what they sell, and that you're trying to get them to sponsor you? Like, I appreciate that, because it's in line with your values and your lifestyle, and it's something that you already are a customer of.
There's total right ways to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and the bigger thing is like, if a company, if you have a channel and your channel is about one topic, and the sponsor that sponsors you is about, you do a cooking channel and your sponsor is like a mobile game, and you have to spend 2.5 minutes of your cooking video talking about this app on a phone, like that's where I start going like, what are we even doing here? Like that, this is not for your audience. This is not for a thing. Like, sure, like have a cooking related company sponsor a thing. That totally makes sense. And sometimes it is great. My drum set is back here right behind us. I needed a new hi-hat clutch. So for those of you who play drums, the hi-hat is the two cymbals that open and close and let you like, keep rhythm and make all these sounds and stuff like that. That's the hi-hat. The clutch is the thing that holds the top hi-hat in the air so that it can open and close on the bottom one. Mine was just like coming loose. They were constantly falling. It was very annoying. And I went to YouTube and I was like, hi-hat keeps slipping. And I found a video that was like, here's the exact tool, the part that you need. It's $14. It will fix this problem exactly. And it was like this drummer dude, and he was talking about it and showing how it works. And I was like, awesome. And I went to the description to click on the link, and it literally like, he just didn't even say what it was in the description. And so like I had to go to Amazon and kind of like Google and like look at the paused frame and look at this one and be like, okay, it's the same one. I would have loved it to go like click my affiliate link and like get the thing. But it hit, like that was so unsponsored, it was almost harmful because it made it harder for me to get to solve the problem I wanted to do. So
right.
you know, there is that nice delicate balance, whether it's something that's affiliate, you know,
like even I've been thinking about it because the program that I'm enrolled in, that's a year long. So far I love it, but really what matters is the results, right? So if I don't see the results that they promise, then you know I have nothing good to say about it. But I feel like I'm going to have positive results, but I've been very conscious of like, because they have an affiliate program where you make $500 every time someone enrolls, and like I feel like if I make a video where I'm genuinely talking about my experience, it's just automatically discounted because there's an affiliate,
right?
Which
that's a thing that can very rarely happen.
Which sucks because I feel like because people have mishandled sponsorships and affiliates, now there's like there's the integrity is like, there's a distrust that's automatically there by default that shouldn't be there. Gosh darn it.
I had someone leave me a comment the other day that was like, I forget exactly how he worded it, but it was on a product review, a non-sponsored thing where I had bought the product with my own money. Something in here that I use all the time. I don't remember what it was. And he was like, you say this is not sponsored, but then go to the description, affiliate links, busted. And I was like, why are you busting? Like, it is not sponsored. Affiliate links like to Amazon or whatever don't hurt anyone.
Oh my God, how annoying.
Well, that was a thing where it's like, I have looked at the things and been like, you know, it does sometimes, like, it did feel weird at first to put affiliate links where someone will click on it and you get a percentage of the sale if they buy something. It changes no price for the person. But especially in my niche, talking about cameras and things, one of the main questions I get, what camera do you use? What lens do you use? What camera do you use? What lens do you use? And around the 5th or 6th time that someone said they bought $1,000 Canon lens because of my recommendation, I was like, wait,
you're leaving money on the table.
Yeah, if it's not even enough to just tell people, oh, I use a Canon camera or whatever. Like, they want a link to the one that you use, so that way they get the same one that you're using.
Someone's actually asking right now about what camera you're using.
It's the Canon EOS R with the Sigma 24mm 1.4.
Ron answered, so.
Okay. And it just sort of was like, oh, I'm going to put a link there. I could just put a random link to the Amazon thing, or I could put a link that's going to get me 4% or whatever if you choose to buy something. Why not do that? It's an organic thing. Like people want the links anyway. Why not do that? That's very different than me like going overboard to make, like, I need to make a sponsored video right now. I need to reach out and just get anyone to sponsor me so I can like have a sponsored video so I can be a real creator. Like, that's a very different perspective.
It just sucks because it's like, it doesn't, like, you don't have to get paid in order for you to be a real creator. No. You know, and I think that there is an issue with like, okay, how do we make this a full-time thing? But I think the vast majority of creators are not trying to do this full-time. Yeah. And there's just not enough,
light being shined on that part.
Well, because, okay, first of all, see, now I can get into it. First of all, there's no orientation on how to be a content creator. No one tells you what to expect, how to do any of this stuff. A lot of it is just, you just figure it out as you go. There are coaches and agencies. Okay. So there's agencies, which I think that's a whole, I can't even speak to that because I've never, had an agency before. But then there's coaches, like Instagram coaches, TikTok coaches, YouTube coaches, and blah-de-da. And the overall message that I have seen from the ones that I've been following are always just like money, 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 grow, 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 like hustle,
rise and grind.
And like, is there, like, if you want to take drum lessons from a drum coach, it's not because you're trying to be the next like all-star drummer. You're just trying to pursue a hobby, a passion, or whatever.
Right. And the drum teacher is literally like, I will teach you how to play the drums. Exactly. Not like you're going to get a spot on world tour with famous band or anything. It's just, you want to learn how to play drums? I'll teach you how to play drums.
And I mean, whatever. Maybe this is a self-serving video because to me, I've really been thinking about this a lot, and I want to be the YouTube coach that doesn't do that. Like that focuses on the story being shared and the passion being shared and the hobby or the weird obsession or whatever, less than like eventually we're going to make money. I mean, I think that conversation needs to happen, but I don't think that's the, like, you didn't, okay. I straight up dug up Tom's first email that he sent me, and he straight up said, views, money, and subscribers don't matter to me. I want to find a sweet spot where it doesn't feel totally pointless. I've memorized this because I'm writing it on my website copy. But yeah, but you still want to, you want to find a sweet spot where it doesn't feel totally pointless, but that's not your like primary
it sucks
goal.
to make a video, upload it, be proud of it, and literally have 0 views. Like, it just doesn't feel good. But at the same time, like, making something that only for the views also sucks. Making something only for the money. Like, for example, there's a certain, this isn't my channel, so I don't want to, there's a certain sponsor to help you build websites that sponsors a lot of channels, which I think is a great thing because it is a good service. It's relevant to so many different people.
We both use it,
and they support lots of creators. And it's cool to be supported by that. I can't speak for certainty because I've never worked with them. But from what I understand, one of the ways that they handle sponsorships is sort of like a package deal, maybe like 4 sponsored videos a month. So here's your payment. Now produce 4 videos a month. I've heard that they're very lenient with like, however you want to incorporate the sponsorship, hit these bullet points, do your thing, which is a great way to do it. But what you will sometimes notice is at the end of the month, you will see very bad sponsored videos coming out because people will be like, oh my God, I didn't make like the 4 videos I was supposed to make. I need to make a sponsored video. And you'll watch one and you're like, this video's not that great. But it's still sponsored. And you're like, oh, you literally had to make a video contractually. And that's gotta be super stressful and a little bit frustrating. And that's where it's like, I feel like you've lost control over your corner of the internet, over your channel, where it's like, if you want to support me, like, Artlist is a company that has been super supportive of me. Like, they did an affiliate thing. They reached out to me. They've tried to do sponsored stuff with me, and I keep saying no.
I think Ron signed up for Artlist today.
Artlist is awesome. Like, I really love Artlist. I did like they're crazy because they want to do sponsored thing, and I put up my ethics statement that's on my website, which is everything like, this is how I would in theory handle sponsored content, which is very unfriendly to the sponsor. And they were like, that sounds great, like whatever you want. And I was like, I still don't want to do it. Like, I just didn't want to do sponsored stuff at the time. But that fits in super organically. It makes it really easy. It's just like,
it makes sense.
It completely makes sense. And the way that they approached it was very much like, we like you as a creator. Like, we like that we're a part of what you do. We would be happy to give you money to just let people know that we're a part of what you do. And I like I said, I still said no, but I would definitely consider doing something like that in the future, especially because they were like, I didn't have to do a 3-minute segment about like all these features and stuff. And I think that's a good way to approach it when it's sort of this very, very authentic, where it just makes sense.
Yeah.
To do it. And it is sad that there's this mistrust, because I have found myself lately looking, if I look up a review for a product, I specifically avoid the big channels now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I look for a channel.
Okay, so here's what Ron
that's smaller said. Because I feel like that person's gonna give me.
I just figure there's a big Discord group where Potato Jet, Gerald and Dunn, Peter McKinnon tell everyone what their videos will be about for the next 2 weeks.
Anyway. No comment.
It's a video making arms race. No one wants to be the one not crushing it in the camera YouTube space. Then they all guest on each other's channels.
Well, and it's just a snake eating its own tail. And it's I get frustrated because it sometimes will be channels that I love and really look forward to, and I see a video pop up and I'm so excited. Like, it happened yesterday, for example. I opened up my YouTube feed and I saw a video popped up and I was actually interested in it. I was like, this actually seems kind of cool. And then I saw the video below it was about the same thing. And I was like, wait. And then I scrolled through 10, 15 videos literally about the same thing. And I was like, oh, a product embargo.
Which is so weird because like I am not subscribed to a lot of the same channels in the same niche. So this never happens to me ever. Like I have one tech channel, this guy, and like one, you know, commentary channel and one channel about dogs, one channel about cooking, and one just they're all super random. So whenever he shows me his feed, when like the newest camera tech thing comes out and the whole feed is it's like so you can't not see it. It's like the entire all these videos about the same thing. I can't imagine how that feels as a viewer where it's like how could you not feel like this is all staged?
Well, I can't say I know, but from what I understand from the creator perspective of people who do that, a company will contact you and they'll say, hey, new thing coming out. Here's a non-disclosure agreement. Try it out for a couple weeks, make a video. The release date is blah, blah, blah. You can set your video live at midnight on that day or whatever, 9 a.m. on that day. And they go, okay, cool. And they do their thing. And they don't know who else has it. You can probably guess, like I'm sure this person, that person, that person, but they don't really know until they see all the other videos come out. And it's just like, that's gotta be, I feel like that is a tough spot to be in as a creator, but that's where it's like, I would so much rather wait 2 or 3 weeks and find the guy who was like, I really needed a new blah, blah, blah. And this came out. So I got it and checked out. Here's my review on the thing that I actually like wanted and paid for and serves a need, and like not just like a thing a company offered me. So I have to shoehorn it into my workflow. Would I really use it? Would I not? Like you'll never see it on my channel again.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Ron says, does not worrying about the YouTube income take the pressure off when it comes to delivering a video every week?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's crazy because the income for my channel has gone up significantly this year, just as the channel has grown. But it has been fun because as more companies approach, I mean, I say no to more money every month than the channel makes every month, if that makes sense. So like, I mean, I'll give you, I have my book around here somewhere, but last month was one of the better months that I've had. The channel brought in over $4,000.
That's insane.
Which is insane. Like that's insane. And this is new to me. But I said no to over $6,000 of, so it could have been a $10,000 month, but it was a $4,000 month instead, because those $6,000, like it would be cool to have $6,000 more. I love
that you keep track of that.
Yeah, it would be great to have that. But when I think of 200 videos and 3 years and thousands of hours and working to like build relationships with these people, do I really want to sell that away for a little bit of money? Like, because these companies in those cases, it's not Artlist who just like is excited about what I'm doing and trying to be supportive. It's companies who just want access to the audience.
Yeah.
They just want, I built a thing and they want access to it. And that really, really sucks. But yeah, it does take the pressure off. But the really fun part that's happened lately is now the channel starting to be able to support itself in a way that is neat. Where like, for example, if I need a piece of equipment for the channel, something semi-reasonable, it's easy for me to go, oh, like I can just get it because the channel will pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's cool. And then that will make the channel better and like pay for itself. There's a really cool little snowball thing that happens there, that I not only would I never have expected to happen, you couldn't plan to happen, but also like starting out, I would have just been overwhelmed with even trying to figure out how to make that happen. Like it's just something that had to happen on its own over time. And I could never have been like, hey, Heather, I want to start a YouTube channel and I really want to generate this much money every month and I need to.
I think that's just a freaking, sinking ship. If you go into, it's like, oh, I want to make money as a writer. That's why there's the joke about the starving artist, because it's really hard to, it's so hard to like master your craft as a creative, to find the audience that appreciates your craft, to develop your style and your perspective and all of that, plus throwing in like, we're going to turn this into business. Like it's so,
you have to make, I remember in 12th grade, I had an economics teacher who said,
oh my gosh,
he broke it down how much money, he's like, this is how much it costs me to wake up in the morning. He like broke down his bills by day. And he's like, so the fact that I woke up to live for another day means, I spent this much money. And, that was very interesting to hear as a high school student from your economics teacher. But, like, I think putting that pressure on the things that you're doing, I've heard people who are like, I love taking photos, I want to be a photographer. And then as soon as they start making their income from photography, it's just such a different feeling of like, I'm not picking up my camera for fun. I'm not being experimental. It's like, like the whole pressure and perspective has changed. And that doesn't mean that, you should never be a professional photographer, but it really means like, for some people, that's when the interest dies. And then they're like, well, I'm going to start a channel where I can actually have fun.
And there's something like super magical about the experimentation of just knowing that this person's having fun with it. Like literally,
Yes.
I screenshotted this tweet and sent it to my brother yesterday, where T-Pain is learning Blender and streaming it on Twitch. What's Blender? It's
3D animation modeling software.
Is he going to be a pro 3D animation person now? Probably not. But the fact that there's this person who's famous for, music is now diving into a completely different kind of creative endeavor is like interesting. Well, I think that's cool. And I appreciate that.
It's funny because like your brother, Kevin, was on our show last week and he was learning Blender. He's been learning all these things. He dives into software programs. He already knows and tries to get better at them. And it's not because, well, now I want to get a job as a 3D modeler. But it's just because like, this is interesting. I want to understand it better. And I know that at some point in the future, the dots are going to connect in a way that this makes sense and might play a role. But that's not the pressure of me learning it right now. It's because I want to experiment with something and just have fun with it.
We need to check in.
We do.
We have to check in. Okay. There's a conversation between Tusif and Ron. Tusif said, I code for money and I do YouTube to enjoy, but I hate coding. And he said, it's not just about the money. There's another pressure of being related to others. If you started to express yourself for that sole reason in the first place. Very true. Ron was saying, do other concerns still weigh on you? Like the need to keep the channel relevant and to feed the damn algorithm so that YouTube doesn't damn your videos to non-recommendation.
Yes. that part, that's a whole different thing.
The Daniels are here. Thank you for the knowledge. It really helps figure things out. Have you heard about Squarespace? Let's see. Drummers and their hardware. We love our hardware.
Yes.
Let's see. And Bitcoin Bull. I think Ron answered it. But what kind of camera are you guys using? This is so clear.
Yeah, EOS R.
It can be clear, but StreamYard doesn't allow us to stream in 1080, so it's 720. And
most of the time, the lens makes a bigger difference than the camera too. But Ron said something. I actually screenshot it because it was like a light bulb. He said,
"Where is it?"
I think I can put it up. Yeah. So this is why I love Tom's channel. It's not about gear as such, but how to be creative with the gear and have fun doing it. I thank you for saying that because I think you articulated a goal I had that I didn't know how to articulate. And literally, I think that is something like, if I can make something that checks off those boxes, I think that's a good litmus test for it being a good idea. I really appreciate that feedback a lot.
Charlie's Cook Line is here. Hi, Charlie. What's up? Bitcoin. Is Heather still using WeWork? That's how I found her. I am not. I haven't used WeWork in a very long time.
We work together now here.
Yeah. I mean, there's no WeWork around me now. So, yeah. I think I would use it if there was a co-working space next to us.
That'd be fun. Speaking of getting offices in this.
I know. Let's see.
So,
Life with Monique. Do you think it's easier to be a blogger or a YouTuber?
In 2020, I mean, I would say, well, if you're talking full time, I don't know. The blog world is something I only have a vague understanding of, but it seems very difficult.
I don't think it's honestly, I don't think it's a matter of I don't think you can say either way. I think it depends on the person, because if someone's a better writer and photographer, they're just going to do
about
better.
The angle that you like, the perspective and the angle that you bring.
Like if you suck at making videos, then you just suck at making videos. Like you just go back to blogging, because the reason why I think you can totally start a blog or a YouTube channel in 2020 because they're both search engines. So if you're creating good content that's searchable, you're bound, your audience that you're targeting is bound to stumble upon you. but I think it depends on the person. So I would say, you know, for Tom, it's going to be easier to make a YouTube channel because this is his jam.
It's true.
Versus someone else who, like, you know, just doesn't like cameras or whatever. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Okay, cool. To see Tom's mentality is too good for YouTube, and that's a compliment.
Oh, well, thank you very much. YouTube is magic because this is the thing. Sorry, this is like what we talked about the day that we met and did our first live stream together, which is having grown up making movies on 8mm cassettes and, you know, connecting the camcorder to the TV and trying to edit from VCR to VCR and that whole thing, and just trying to corral whoever was around to watch it, which is usually just like parents, maybe like a friend's younger brother or something. The idea that YouTube exists, and not only the quality of stuff, the fact that everything can be super crisp and clear and HD, even if you are filming with the phone, it's going to look better than anything I ever had growing up. And you can edit your stuff together to be just so much better. And then you can, for free, make it accessible to the entire human race is wild. And
but see, you know, like, I think the part where it gets complicated is like, okay, again, I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm working on my online course where I have to get into the mindset of someone who's just deciding to start a YouTube channel. Maybe has made a video, maybe hasn't taken that first step yet, but they're just starting. And I think if you go into it thinking like my videos can be seen, like it's the same path as like my videos can make money. But I think there's a special, you know, journey that you embark on when you're like, I just want to create something that can be seen, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean,
like, I'm not, you're not chasing, you know, you're
no,
not like clout chasing or whatever.
No, that's how I felt, because I started my channel in 2017, but I remember it was 2012 when I really like started thinking about, wow, it's so cool that people have these channels. And I would
that's so long.
We could have had journey.
Tom like,
oh yeah, silver play button would be there had I started in 2012. But the problem was, and it's crazy because I would watch videos and I would buy gear. And, you know, I was teaching digital media, so I was like, oh, it's related to my job, even though it's like, well, you can just use this stuff at work. Like, why do you need your own? And I would think like, well, I could make a video, and I would sometimes like make stuff together. But the idea of like, and then it's just sitting on my computer is weird. Right. So like having YouTube, it's not so much like I want it to get 1 million views, but it was just the idea that like I made something.
Someone can see
it is out in the world now.
Right.
And like, be that as it may, like it do whatever it's accessible happen. Yeah, it is there. That was different. It's not collecting virtual dust on a hard drive somewhere.
We got
speaking of making money on YouTube,
yeah,
we're eating dinner tonight.
James and Mark. Zanga was my blog in the early 2000s. Here today is modern e-props for you both. Great show so far.
Thanks so much.
Did you have a Zanga?
No, I started did I have a Zanga? I started like
Zanga was my life, yo.
What did I
like? I remember Zanga more than MySpace.
I can't remember what I had. I don't think it was Zanga, but I had like, I tried to start like a little bloggy thing a couple times, and it made like 2 posts and then left.
Oh man, I used to be like a blogger.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. What else could you remember? People's MySpace blog posts?
Live journal was that?
Maybe it was Live Journal. I remember. I don't know. Anyway. It was like 2 posts.
Hold on, let me just scroll up to make sure I didn't like miss anything.
And there's been good conversation. I've been seeing it popping, but there's like this thing that's in my brain where I'm like, we're in the middle of a thing and I'm enjoying that, but I also see a conversation over here and I'm like, do I stop what we're doing to acknowledge that?
Let's see. Sylvia, I'm loving the couples table and the passion for creativity.
That's the ability to just create more. I was gonna say something, but that's just the exciting part of it.
Oh my gosh. That is 100% my AIM Zanga screen name.
Yeah, and early YouTube URL.
Oh yeah, it still is.
Yeah, if you type it in, it will go.
It'll go to this channel actually. Jared's here. Did you guys plan to wear plaid shirts together? We did not.
But it just happened, and then our shirts coordinate really well with.
I know, look at this.
With our microphone cables.
Oh, see, he was a live journal guy too.
I think I don't
Two
remember
peas
what
in a
mine
pod.
was.
Okay. So where are we here?
We're not going to solve anything. I think.
Here's what I think. Sorry.
Wow.
I have a tendency to, like, when the thought hits me, I just physically react. I'm sorry. Because I have ADHD and the thought might slip, yo. So I have to
Don't let it slip. Catch the thought. Let it out. Let it out. What is it?
Hold on. I think it left.
Oh, no. Well, here's what I think.
Okay, what do you think?
You started this episode by saying that it was important to bring this side of the conversation up because no matter what niche you're in YouTube, as soon as you start your channel and you have at all any questions about like, well, how could I get more views or how could I make my videos better? You will enter the world of grow, money, full-time.
Inevitable. Yeah.
And it's not that any of those things are bad. It's not that, like, if I could make 6 figures a year doing YouTube, like the way that I'm doing it now, that would be, I would not hate that idea. But there's just ways, if that's the goal, that's gonna take you down a path that's not.
If that's the goal, there are so many ways to get there faster that are probably not going to be in line with your passion.
I think there's like an old hackneyed stand-up comedy joke, but it's like, that's like buying a 747 to get free peanuts. Like, there's just easier ways to achieve that goal. And I think it was just
that's like hella SAT word, yo. Hackney. Sorry. English teacher up in here.
So I'm going to derail this for a story real quick. Don't let your thoughts slip away. But I used to be a sign artist at Trader Joe's during college. And I remember we got a new, not a manager, but the assistant manager who was in charge of the art department came back one day and was introducing themselves to us. And they were kind of asking like, so how do you guys do your thing? Do you, do everyone tell you what you need to work on? Do you guys know what to do? Like, how do you figure out materials? And I said, well, we're just pretty autonomous back here. And it devolved into like a 10-minute thing of like, look at this fancy guy over here, like autonomous, all these things. And I was like, it's the word that means exactly what I want to communicate. It means we do things on our own. Like, we're self-governing, yo.
Sometimes Tom just drops a word where like I can't pay attention to anything he was saying except for the vocab word.
Anyway,
get out of town. When was the last time you said that?
Well, it was like 3 minutes ago, 2.5 minutes ago.
I know before that.
I don't know. I say it all the time.
I've never heard you say that.
I don't know. It's clearly a word that floats in my vocab. Maybe I type it out in my like, little rude comments. The topic of this video is so hackneyed, shallow, and pedantic. Anyway, what was your thoughts?
Okay. Yeah. So I said that I wanted to say this on the stream before we started. And so here's where I'm going to say it. Before we jumped onto this stream, I was scrolling through Twitter and someone was saying, oh my gosh, I just got my silver play button, 100,000 subscribers. Thank you so much to at blah de da de da de da de da
like 6 or 7 people
who all do like YouTube coaching, all dudes, which is fine. But I wish I wish there were one chicken there.
A chicken? Sorry.
One female in there. But the other thing is, from what I know about those channels, they're very heavily emphasis. There's a lot of emphasis on grow. If you
ain't growing, you're dying.
Hustle. Yeah. I mean, not all of them are saying full time, like make money on YouTube, but success in high, crazy numbers is like so much of the drive behind those channels. And I want to be a part of a new, I feel like generation is the only word, but Mr. Vocab, can you tell me what the next
generation cohort?
Okay, sure. Cohort of YouTube coaches that, and this is funny because authenticity and authentic are words that get thrown around a lot, but That's really what it is. It's like you said, it's the word that really describes the thing. Like I want to help, when I see someone say, hey, I hit, 50,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, whatever big milestone that they're proud of, and they tag the people. It's all these YouTube coaches that are there to really help people share their stories authentically.
Mhm.
And they take pride in that. They take pride in the weird hobby, the crazy passion and obsession that they have with, whatever it is that they're sharing on their YouTube channel. If it's other stuff, if it goes beyond that money, blah, de, da, then it does. But if it doesn't, I don't know.
I think that's.
Does that make sense?
I think that's an awesome idea. It does make sense because it reminds me I grew up watching Saturday Night Live, which has been on for like 46 years or something at this point. And every time there's a new cast on SNL, everyone's like, "It's the show's over. Show sucks. Cast is terrible." And then 5 or 6 years later, people start leaving, and then a new cast comes in. And they're like, "Show's over. Sucks. New cast is terrible." But the thing with you can watch it from like people show up as unknowns on the show. They put in their time, and then they start getting a movie deal and a show and a this and a that, and then they become very well-known, comedians and actors, directors, and those kinds of things. And then kind of the new group of people come up and they're just starting out. It kind of reminds me of that. Like there's a YouTube generation, a YouTube cohort of people where the focus really has been, for whatever reason, growth, business, money, numbers, growth, business, money, numbers. And then they're growing. And I mean, they're getting silver play buttons, they're getting gold play buttons. And now maybe there's people who want to join in that have a different goal, and there can be a new group that focuses towards something else.
Even the trend before grow seemed to be like videography and like camera gear.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a natural fit for YouTube,
right?
But it was a lot more of like, hey, I'm a wedding filmmaker. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel just talking about how I do my wedding videos. But my job is doing wedding videos. And there's nothing wrong with shifting away, because like wedding videos are really hard to make. So then you make a living on YouTube, you kind of shift over there. That stuff does totally make sense. But I just think, and again, there's a million YouTubes. Like there's different ways to approach it. There's wrong ways. But if you want to grow and you want to, use this as an opportunity to bring in some income and whatever, that's fine. But I think that it is important to shine a light on the other side of that. I do remember, it just struck me when I started working at the school that I currently work at, which is before I had my YouTube channel. I had to open and start a YouTube channel for our broadcast class so we could live stream. And I remember we started and all the kids were like, "Oh, we're going to get that silver play button." And I had no idea what they were talking about. I was like, "What is a silver play button?"
I 100% think that you're going to get your silver play button. Like,
we don't need to.
I would say in the next like year at the latest.
We don't need to end a show talking about numbers don't matter by getting me like.
Can you have Tom dissect what my screen name means?
Who is that?
James.
Wait, where's his?
Here's my screen name.
You have Tom dissect. Well, okay. I know it's something about Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, you got the fantasy part right.
Okay, fantasy. Final Fantasy X. Wait, there's X's on both sides.
That's just decor, aesthetic.
Okay, so BG Fantasy 215.
Yeah.
BG Fantasy 215. Oh, is it Brian from Backstreet Boys?
Aw.
Is it?
Kind of. Yeah.
Kind of.
It's Backstreet's girl.
Oh, Backstreet. I thought it was Brian because you had a car named Brian.
I did.
I don't remember his last name.
Brian Sean David Thomas.
Okay.
Oh my God! Thomas was in it.
Oh, that's why. There we go. Okay, so it's Backstreet's Girl, Fantasy. Is Fantasy Final Fantasy? Okay, and then what's the 215? It's not an area code or anything.
I was part of a dance group in grade school, and if you added if you converted the first initial of all of our names into numerics and then added it up, it equaled 215.
That's really dorky, and I love it.
Well, our dance group was called Harmony 215.
Nice.
So anyway, I don't know, whatever.
Should've lived off the I-215 or something.
Aaron says, such insight to this relationship. To see if girl. I'm gonna put Artless music behind that.
You know what? Artless is really good. And the thing is, the people who work there are super nice. So it's a win-win. This is not sponsored. I still said no to all their sponsor offers.
Let's see. Is Tom joining SNL? I think he would be great.
I'd be the one that like makes skits get cut every week.
Let's see. A silver play button in a year. Numbers don't matter. Oh my, I love PewDiePie. Straight up. I'm a big fan of PewDiePie's channel. We should do like who our favorite YouTube channels are.
Yeah, that'd be
on
great.
An episode.
That would be great.
Yeah. To see, let me tell you about the Backstreet Boys. You see how this whole wall is Aquabats? Yeah. I had the same thing, except the posters were also on the ceiling.
Yeah.
With the Backstreet Boys. I can't tell you how obsessed I was. I was just so...
Your former room at your parents' house still has a few Backstreet like memorabilia. Like
I was like, I made wallpaper like out of so
like real wallpaper.
Well, like you couldn't see the wall because there were so many pictures, like
not like on your
together
computer or something.
No, yeah, like on your bedroom wall. Anyway, so I think that's where we're gonna end it. So, what's our takeaway? What's our wrap up before we clear the table? What's the dessert?
The dessert is there's no wrong way to approach your YouTube channel. And if you're focusing on numbers, I would encourage you to focus on the creativity, the fun, the aspect of awe, like the fact that you can do this more than the numbers going up.
Well, the awe around the fact that you can do this, but also the awe around the thing that you're sharing videos about.
Yes, the thing that you're excited to talk about in the first place.
Like literally there's videos about like terrariums and music and like just lipsticks and like there's just so many weird and quirky and
yeah.
I love that about YouTube is because we're all so different, but yet we have a lot in common and we can connect with people that we would never meet, which is crazy. Like the fact that how many people in this chat right now do not live within the 200 miles. Yeah, the time zone is so cool. So yes, echoing off what you said, if you want to start sharing content, make it be about something that you just can't stop talking about. Like you already naturally can't stop talking about whatever it is that you're going to create content about. Both of us are living proof that money is possible. I just think that if you go into it with that being the primary goal, there's faster ways to get to money.
Well, I also think that it's important to remember, like, your channel, by the time you've gotten to a point where you can make money off of it, like I said, you've invested so much into it. Do you want to sell that to just some random company for whatever price? Or, it does give you a bit of power and authority and authenticity to say no to those things and to be able to just go like, this just doesn't fit.
And I'll tell you, like, I honestly think that the money comes faster than you think because you don't need, I mean, clearly, because we're both making money and you don't need, he's got 23,000 subscribers now.
25.4.
Oh, sorry.
Babe.
Oh, yeah, 25. I just did a whole
Not
post.
that it's about the numbers, but
yeah, he's at 25,000. So you don't need like,
which is still in the YouTube world.
Subscribers.
YouTube calls it a small channel, so it's still like,
yeah, like that's a small channel in the grand scheme of things. But you can still make a lot of money. You can make a full-time, amount of money on there, on here. But yeah,
I have a friend who is a teacher with a YouTube channel, only a couple thousand subscribers larger than me, who is a teacher who makes 3 to 4 times his teacher salary through his YouTube channel and has no interest in quitting his teaching job because he just enjoys it. And then it gives him the reason he's able to take the risk with his channel is because he has the security of, well, I got my real job. So if this doesn't work out, that's fine. And so it gives you a little more freedom to try new
the way that
things.
you're doing it is perfect, where you're just doing what you
course.
love. He's just doing what he loves. And then the right sponsors kind of find you.
The
It's
wrong
good.
ones do too, but I just don't answer those emails.
Right. But the other thing that you did that was really good was that you put together an ethics statement, which I wish I
Yes.
had, because one of the
Oh, that
first
was
sponsors that I
great.
got was an electric skateboard. Because I was making my boosted board videos, and they're my favorite videos. Go check them out. But of course, it was inevitable that an electric skateboard company
Yeah.
was going to reach out, and I should have been like, no, I don't want to just have 10 electric skateboards just because I had one.
Yeah.
But I didn't have an ethics statement. I didn't have anyone to tell me like, okay, let's weigh the options. Let's weigh the pros and cons. I just saw the money and I was like, well, free skateboard and money to make a video about the thing. Sure.
Yeah.
And I said, is it okay if I'm not happy with it? And they said, yeah, just be as like.
Usually companies are pretty good about that. They want the authenticity, but yeah, it gets to a point where then it's like, well, we gave you the skateboard, that's enough. And you're like, but I don't need it.
What I would even think, what I would say, like especially if you're on YouTube, I would put together a list of dream sponsors, like of content, because I was looking at Charlie's Cook Line. Obviously, he has a cooking channel. Like if there's like a tool that you use in the kitchen, or some company that like just is super in line with your perspective and values of the content that you're creating, like I would just put a list of that and be like, these are the only people that I want to approach or be approached by.
So I agree. I think that's the way to do it, because, and then also knowing that will make it easier to say no to everyone else. Because if you say yes to every single thing, that one that you really would be a good fit is like, they're never going to be interested, because
now you're just a channel of commercials.
Right. But the thing I wanted to bring up too, though, I don't know where this fit in, but for some reason that reminded me. The thing that I'm holding in my hand right now is the Blackmagic A10 Mini. It's a little 4-channel video switcher. We were using it last week to switch some camera angles around. I've been using it with my live streaming high school classes, with our Zoom classes. And this thing's amazing. It's $300. Sounds like an ad. It's $300 and it lets you switch between 4 different inputs. The reason that's amazing is because literally prior to this, the cheapest thing you could get that did this was $2,000. And prior to that, it was $6,000. Prior to that, it's $100,000. So it blew my mind. I'm working on a review video for this because I love it so much. But I bring that up because it's from Blackmagic. My last video where I talked about a Blackmagic product was how much I hated it. And I literally just gave the product away because I thought it was such garbage. And traditionally, I actually really dislike Blackmagic products. And I feel like making a review about this on my channel where I openly say, I actually don't like their products most of the time. And even this has some weird quirks. There's no power button on it. What? There
doesn't need to be, yo.
It can't just stay on all the time.
Just unplug it.
But then I gotta get up and go in my mess of cables. And why not just put a button like every other electronic device ever that will turn it off? Stupid. I have no problem saying that. But still, the fact that this puts something that traditionally would have cost thousands of dollars into a $300 package, this is a perfect product. I don't care about those quirks. And I feel like the reason I bring that up is because doing that review where like, it's not only is it not sponsored, but I've actually been critical of this company before, is going to let you know that review is ultra authentic. And I would even think if Blackmagic saw that, they might not like me talking about their other products, but I think they would be really excited to know that they hit the nail on the head so hard with this product right here that I don't think it would like make them, I don't know, shadow ban me from being like in their world at all.
So Blackmagic, feel free to reach out to the Enthusiasm Project.
Or don't. Anyway, that was just a thing that popped into my head. But it's fun. And then when you're not beholden to sponsors and this, that, you can say that a thing doesn't live up, or you can say that you like this over that, because you can just be honest and authentic.
There you go.
It's time to clear the table, babe.
It's time to clear the table.
So thank you guys, as always, for hanging out with us on your Thursday, heading into Friday, heading into that weekend.
And next week, we're definitely going to have a fun episode. We're going to do, what should we tell them?
We're like a newlyweds sort of.
Yeah, we're gonna do like a
situation.
newlyweds game because we didn't get to do.
But we need a host. It's hard to host your own game with you playing it.
Yeah, but if you guys want to like submit questions or whatever, then reach out to us on social media.
On the socials.
Alrighty. All right. If you have any topics for future episodes, let us know in the comments. I don't know why I just turned into a robot right there. I think I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too.
Look at Steve, it's breakfast time for him. My gosh.
Oh, well, I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great night, great day.
Bye everyone. Good seeing you.
Yep. Stay safe.
Yep.
Have fun. Bye-bye.